Good afternoon and welcome to the Penn State community. I'm Ben Manning and we're all very excited to have the future class of 2024 join us today. Congratulations on your offers of acceptance to Penn State. We're all very proud of you. Graduating high school and choosing where to go next is an exciting time, but all of us here at Penn State understand that right now it's even more complex than usual. And that's why we're hosting this series, to answer your questions and let you hear from the leaders of Penn State, the faculty members that will be teaching you, fellow Penn State students, and alumni who have graduated from Penn State and are already making a difference in their community and the world. We're hosting 4 Q&A sessions, but today we'll be focusing on a great topic, the Penn State student experience. If you missed the live session on May 14th, check out the recorded video on this website, classof2024.psu.edu. Dr. Barron was joined by other Penn Staters to discuss Penn State's flexibility to meet individual needs. And they focused on topics like the fall semester, deferrals, financial questions, international students, and the newly announced Flex Start. So if you missed that, please go back and watch it. Hosting the discussion today will be Damon Sims, who is the Vice President for Student Affairs and is committed to fostering the best student experience for all students here at Penn State. And joining us will be Tracy Lankilde, who is the professor and the head of the biology department, a world-renowned scientist who was named the distinguished herpetologist by the Herpetologist League. And she'll tell you what that means, and she is a lot of fun with great pictures. I'm going to be talking more about that in a bit. Michael Zeman, who is the director of the Student Engagement Network and helps students create academic and personal growth opportunities through engaged scholarship and community partnerships. Katie Solomon, who is our 2021 Executive Director of Thon, as we all know, the largest student-run philanthropy in the world. Austin Oliver, who is part of our class of 2022 at Penn State Barron, and he works with prospective students like yourself as a Lion Scout and current students as a resident assistant. So the man can answer a lot of questions, trust me. Damon, would you like to get us started with a few words?
I'd be happy to, Ben. It's really great to see you in person, at a respectful distance, of course. But it's great to be here today because we get a chance to spend this time with these remarkably accomplished and promising students, all of whom we hope will become full members of the Penn State community in fairly short order. This is my 12th year as Vice President of Student Affairs at Penn State. And yet this is my first year to be the parent of a new incoming student at the university. So I have a very different perspective this year from years past for all kinds of reasons. The excitement I always feel anticipating a new school year is amplified, I think, by my son Ethan and all that his conversation with me has led me to feel about what he anticipates. But it's also tempered by the realities of the circumstance that we're all living through. And the uncertainty that I think Ethan and other students may feel about the coming year. But the one thing that I tell Ethan that he should not be uncertain about is the absolute certainty that Penn State University, more than any university in this country, offers a student experience that is just absolutely unexcelled. It's an extraordinary experience for all students at all locations. It has been that way forever, and it remains that way even through the difficulties of the last few months. It's really an incredible thing to witness. I think that it is absolutely the case and remains the case that no university creates a stronger sense of community and connectedness for its students than this one does. We have a long history of that. It explains in part, I think, why we have the largest dues-paying alumni association in the world, because students love their experience at Penn State in every respect. And they sustain that connectedness to the university for years, decades, in fact, after their experience as students here. So the one thing that we can count on, I think, going through this experience is that the strength of that experience and the connectedness that students feel here and the commitment of the university to the student experience will forever be strong and is going to be as strong in the coming year as it ever has been in the past. And I'm very excited to see what the coming year brings. I'm very excited to welcome all these new students into the Penn State community, Ben.
Thank you so much. And you weren't kidding. You know, even in decades down the line, you'll be walking along and you'll see someone wearing that Penn State shirt. You'll shout, "We are," and they'll respond appropriately with a great big Penn State. And it's a wonderful feeling that never goes away. So thank you so much, Damon. And I just want to let you all know, we have received many questions through the portal. Thank you all for submitting them. And we will try to get through as many of them as we can, including topics about today, the college experience, transitioning to college, and safety. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into those questions. And Damon, like I said, we have gotten many questions about the college experience, like, should I consider going somewhere else if I want to guarantee an in-person? Not that there are any guarantees anywhere. How will the experience look different? So can you tell us about what sets Penn State apart when it comes to student life and share how the university continues to support our students?
Sure. Well, I would begin by saying that it is our hope, when we're making plans with this hope in mind, that we will be in person again in the fall. In fact, the university has created a number of task groups that are working toward that end. I happen to be a co-lead for a task group that is very optimistically titled the Return to Campuses and Communities Task Group. We're sorting through a broad range of scenarios, thinking about the best way to do that and try to provide for the health and safety of our entire community as we try to do that. So that is our ambition. And assuming that we can achieve that, then of course the full complement of services that are always available to support students who are transitioning into Penn State will be available again. But I should say that what has been remarkable about this experience over the last couple of months is the extent to which we have been able in a remote environment to stand up all those services and programs that students usually receive in person. We've done that remotely, and so we continue to connect in various ways to our students regardless what format we're going to be in as we look ahead. But again, I mentioned earlier that the powerful sense of community that is at Penn State. It's really, until you're here and a part of it, you really can't believe it. But it's absolutely true. And I've witnessed this in the last few months with student leaders, student organizations that want to meet by Zoom. I've connected with an awful lot of students in the past few weeks. And the spirit among them, their belief in the institution, their connection to one another and commitment to one another, it is real in the best of circumstances, and it is equally real now. I talk to colleagues across the country, and frankly, there isn't a university that doesn't know that whatever happens in the fall will be very different from past experiences. We're going to have to make some adjustments for a time at least. But I've never been more optimistic about Penn State than I am right now because of the conversations I'm having with others and because of my involvement with so many colleagues and student leaders here, all of whom are committing themselves fully in a Herculean way to try to make sure that we can stand up this university either remotely or, more importantly, in a way that is as safe as it can be, but in person in the way that we hope it can be in the fall. So I think all those things that make Penn State different and special continue to make Penn State different and special. They're the things that attracted these students to apply to Penn State and be admitted to Penn State. And all those things are going to be here in the future months, and we're looking forward to getting the school year started in one format or another, but it's going to be a very exciting time for all of us.
Thank you. And we're going to hear from some of those student leaders in just a little bit. You're all very lucky to have two of them in attendance today, and they're going to be taking some of your questions as well. But first, we're going to go to Michael, the director of the Student Engagement Network. How do you guys get students involved on campus and help them find their place here?
Well, I think one of the interesting things is that you can do anything at Penn State and you can explore everything. And the students who are most successful end up taking the initiative to meet other people. And they often enter buildings and knock on doors that have programs about student engagement or student initiatives, clubs and organizations, and really take an investment early on to find opportunities. You can attend an involvement fair, go to club meetings, and really do your diligence to explore and reach out, make connections in the dorms or over virtual or social media, and you can make those connections to find ways to get involved right away. Match up with people who have the same curiosities and interests as yourself, and you'll be on your way.
That's great, Michael. And make sure you check out the Student Center. No matter what your campus is, that's always a wonderful place to find out what other students are doing, and you're going to find someone who has the same interest as you. Or you know what? Create your own club, and the other people will come to you, and you're going to have a great time. Tracy, I got to take a minute and talk about your website, langkildalab.com, and it has some of the best photos on the internet. Audience, please check it out. It's wonderful. You got to check it out. These are great photos. So I just wanted to ask you, how can students get involved in this and research like that and these valuable research opportunities in the field?
Yeah, so I think being involved in research is a great way to put into practice the things that students learn in the classroom and to get connected with faculty members to really get them to know you as a person and write strong letters of recommendation and to get to know other students. So there is lots of formal mechanisms through which students can engage in research, but you can also just go up to your professor if they happen to be talking about something really interesting. Just stop by after class and see if they're taking any students to be engaged in their research. They're usually very excited to do so.
Great. And Tracy, those the pictures I was talking about were really great close-up shots of lizards and other fun things. Do students get to take any of those photos? Do they get to be that close to the animals?
Yeah, I've had over 50 undergraduate students doing research in my lab. So many of those photos were actually taken by the undergrad researchers. And they've worked on everything from lizards and frogs to Mexican jumping beans, which are a real thing. Super cool.
Not just out of the back of a magazine. Mexican jumping beans are real. And if you come to Penn State and seek out Tracy, you'll get to find out what they really are. Okay, thank you. Katie, we're going to go to you next. What is it like to be the Class of 21 Executive Director of Thon, a part of one of the most recognizable student experiences in the world? And how do students from every campus get to take part in this?
I would just say being the executive director for Thon and being a Thon volunteer in any sense is an incredible experience to get to connect with other Penn State students and alumni and a network that I never even knew existed before coming here. I've gotten to work with Penn State alumni across the country and around the world on some of Thon's efforts, as well as thousands of students here at school. And I think that it's just one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. And, hopefully that is going to be true for, I continue to be part of this forever. Any student can get involved in Thon. It's really awesome that we have programs at every Commonwealth campus in Pennsylvania, as well as all of the special mission campuses for some graduate programs. So, you're able to kind of get involved with Thon from off the bat and stay committed throughout. We have a survey on thon.org at the bottom. If you'd like more information, we're happy to send it your way. And there's just always a different way to get involved through countless organizations on campus or through committees, and more information's on our website, and you can learn about that here on campus.
Great, thank you very much. And that was thon.org. So check it out. It's a great organization to be a part of. Austin, we're going to give a question to you next. And you're a Lion Scout at Penn State Barron. So tell me what it is that means.
That means that I'm the first face prospective students will see when they come to campus. I give them a tour around campus and hopefully give them some insight to anything they have questions about for their freshman year.
So Austin, as you're giving these tours, what is the question you get most? What do people want to know when they set foot on your campus?
What event is most attended at campus? And I always tell them that it's Midnight Bingo. You have to go. Bunch of free prizes. It truly makes the student experience special.
Midnight Bingo. I didn't even know. So definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun, it sounds like. Damon, we've gotten many questions about transitioning to college, like how can I adjust to a college educational structure as an incoming freshman? What events are in place to help me make that transition and make it as soon as possible? Could you provide us some insight?
Sure, Ben. I think that almost everything we have in place at the university is designed to help students with transitions and supporting them through those transitions. The new student orientation program is really an extraordinary one here at Penn State. That's usually an in-person experience in the summer, of course. This year, for obvious reasons, it's not going to be in person. But what they're putting together online is really pretty incredible. I'm excited to see it roll out, and I think it'll be very useful. But what happens in whatever format, again, we're in, but certainly when you're in person at the university, as Mike, I think, was saying, you quickly find that in a large place or on any of our other campuses, you connect with other individuals, other students around issues of common interest. And sometimes you find connections through new interests that you want to explore with people. Sometimes that's an extension of the experience in the classroom. Sometimes it's through a student organization or student government or a service activity. Then when there is a bump in the road, when you need some help beyond just what peers can provide, the university is richly resourced with all sorts of support services that are designed exactly to help you through those difficulties, certainly in the early stages of your experience with the university and beyond. So I think that students who have real ambition to connect with people will find a way to find a community that is appealing to them, where they can explore their interests with peers, and they'll do that pretty quickly, and suddenly they become a full part of this place, and the connections that are so important start. And then when they need help from the university in other ways, that help is here in all sorts of forms, because we're deeply committed to our students' success.
That's great. And you talked about sort of the nimbleness of our university before, and that really is on display here with new student orientation as well. Something that has never been online. We have taken and created an amazing experience that you will enjoy. And it'll tell you all about what it means to be a Penn Stater and how you can get involved. So please make sure you check that one out too. Michael, we had a question come in, and we wanted to ask you, what kinds of clubs and groups are there on campus? Do you have any idea how many there are? And in your opinion, what are some of the coolest and most fun ones?
Well, there's over 1,000 recognized student clubs and groups across the system. And really, the sky's the limit. I've always enjoyed walking around the involvement fair and running into the juggling club. There's biology club, there's pre-medicine club. Yeah, there's so many different ones. There's club sports. There's most sports have a student organization that's formed to practice. I think there's even a medieval combat club that has operated here. So, there's volunteerism. There's research, there's study abroad, there's self-directed engaged learning, there's internships and other professional experiences, organizational activities. And so really there's almost no limit to how you can play your curiosities out here in an organized fashion.
And I think that's just great. And he's right, there are so many opportunities. There is a K-pop club and there is an axe throwing club, and that is about as far apart as you can get, but you can do it all here at Penn State. No matter what you're into, you're going to find something fun to involve yourself in. Michael, I'm going to stick with you for just a minute, and the Student Engagement Network also has grants. Can you tell me what that is, how students apply for it?
Sure. The Student Engagement Network does have a grant program. It operates about 3 times every academic year. So that's a cycle that you'd want to complete an application and be eligible for up to $3,000 for an experience that you hope or intend to pursue. And that's really to lower barriers for students who might have to work or hold a part-time job, and they can't have those engaged learning experiences. So this is a program that lowers those barriers and enables students to find a way to apply what they're learning in the classroom to real-world situations and get the experience that builds the skills that the community and future employers are looking for. Students can go online and apply when those cycles are open, and they complete an application, and that application is reviewed, and we move through the process from there.
And Michael, just to follow up, because now people at home are wanting to know, how can they give themselves the best chance? What kind of proposals are the most successful?
We're seeing great proposals from students who have taken the time to really think about their personal growth, the sense of maybe professional readiness that they might have, and some skills that like leadership and communication and problem solving. And then consider also the community impact value of that experience. So students are really asked to be self-reflective and kind of think through what are the benefits of this experience across all those realms.
Great. Tracy, I saw you giving the big thumbs up when they were talking about the biology club. Obviously, that's her vote for which one you should get interested in on campus. And Tracy, as you are both a professor and head of the biology department, can you tell us what types of resources are available to help students gain those unique learning experiences outside the classroom that really make their time here at Penn State shine?
We have offices available to support students in whatever they want to do. So for example, we have offices to help match students with research opportunities. We have offices that help them get overseas experiences. So I have had students working in my lab that have gone to Italy and Curacao and Costa Rica and Tanzania and done all sorts of amazing things. I'm incredibly jealous. And we have offices that help students engage in outreach. So if you're interested in sharing findings and helping enrich the community, there's opportunities to get connected with those. So reach out to school groups or at community outreach events hosted by Penn State and throughout the nation.
I'm a little jealous too. Come on, I need to get in on that. Katie, we're going to ask you a question now. And how did you decide what kinds of groups and activities that you wanted to join as a freshman? And can students really get involved right away?
Absolutely. I think it's really awesome, kind of the network that we've kind of been talking about. You know, you kind of stumble maybe into one organization. Like Michael said, you just go to a meeting and you kind of get a feel for what it's like and if it's a good fit for you. For me personally, this is how my path went. I went to one meeting, and from there I found a new community of people that kind of had a ripple effect on me, and they led me to the next organization I was a part of, some of my internships that I've had. You know, it just kind of stumbles upon different things. So if you really can make that conscious effort from day one to get all the information that you need, whether that be from the Student Engagement Network or involvement fairs, whatever that looks like, really make that conscious effort to go out and put yourself out of your comfort zone, find that initial group. And if it's great, then that's amazing and you have a new community. But if it's not the right fit for you, you can be redirected in a 1,000 different directions, literally. So just making sure that you're taking every opportunity to its fullest advantage, and kind of making the most of whatever you have in front of you while trying to find the best fit.
That's right. You're going to find something that you love. Trust me. Austin, we got another one for you. When you're giving tours as a Lion Scout, what do you tell the students that they need to know to have a great experience in their first year?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. There's a lot of different things that I would try to tell them. I guess the number one thing is to get out, try to make as many friends as possible, join all the different clubs, and just put yourself out there. You can't get hurt from trying to make new friends on campus. Everybody's really friendly. They'll help you find a club that you're interested in, or they'll be friends with you. You can just hang out with them, have lunch one day. It's really exceptional on campus.
Great, thank you so much. Damon, can you talk about how students are finding their place both socially and academically? And do clubs and organizations help support that growth of students into leadership?
Absolutely, Ben. I think that part of this exercise is, of course, hoping that students will find their way into a vocational interest and pursue that profession in whatever way they like. But another large part of this is sort of becoming a citizen, becoming a part of a community, taking ownership of that community, having responsibility both for yourself and for others. Developing a sense of empathy and commitment in that way. And I think that all happens through these opportunities that we've been talking about, through student organizations, through student government, through service organizations, through your living experiences and interactions with other students. You can learn a lot in the classroom, but you take that learning outside the classroom while you're in college and you build upon it, you utilize it in various ways. And this is, as others have already said, a very safe way to explore all sorts of things that may be of interest to you, stretch yourself, discover some things about yourself that you may not have known. And in the process, you build all these connections that we're talking about that become lifelong connections that connect you both professionally and personally in ways that can be very rewarding. So I think that as I listen to this conversation, I'm struck by the fact that the only thing better than being the Vice President for Student Affairs at Penn State would be to be a student at Penn State. I think we all like to go back to that experience if we could, because the richness, the breadth and depth of the opportunities that are available to students at all locations at Penn State, it's really just sort of extraordinary, and I hope that all of our students listening take full advantage of these opportunities when they come and join us.
Absolutely. And Katie, you're a great example of that student who got involved, as a freshman and kept getting more and more involved, and now is leading one of the biggest student organizations on campus. And if we can talk about Thon for a minute, if you can just describe, if it's at all possible, that feeling of community that you feel on a Thon night at the end of when you're there with the families, what can you tell us about that experience?
Sure. I think that Thon is indescribable, but I'll try my best. Basically, being a part of this community is having a sense that we have Thon weekend in February, and that's our largest event. But being part of the community is the sense that no matter where you are, if you're graduated, if you're a freshman, if you just got involved for the first time, you'll always have a place in not only the Thon community, but the Penn State community at large. So the magic of Thon is always knowing that you not only have this amazing support system behind you and people that are always going to be willing to, grab lunch with you or hear your ideas out and make something really amazing happen. But at the same time, you're also supporting the fight against childhood cancer. And something we've really been talking about lately is the fact that while a lot of things in our lives may be on pause right now, cancer has not stopped and it never will stop. So we have the rare opportunity and the privilege to continue to serve our families. And being part of that is just so impactful for, I think, all of the students, but also for the volunteers and the donors and everyone that gets to be a part of this. It's just the feeling and the sense of being home is, I think, the best way I could describe it. It really has given me a home at Penn State, and this community is unlike any other, and we're going to persist through no matter the challenge.
You said something very important there, and you said you're right. Cancer is never going to stop. But you know what? Neither is Penn State, and neither is Thon. Neither of those things will ever stop giving back to their community and being a part of the world's largest student philanthropy and fundraiser. So thank you for all the work that you're doing there as well. Michael, you're another great example of those people that get involved young and stay here. From what I understand, you earned your undergraduate, your master's, and now you work here at Penn State. What about Penn State keeps you coming back?
I actually came to Penn State for a sports camp and fell in love at that point. And from the undergraduate experience, I worked hard to have a good roommate, a relationship. We had a circle of friends in the dining commons. We spent time walking around campus and talking about our classes together and pursuing interests. I think that this place is where you become the best version of yourself. And you do that as you approach graduation. There's no better place for that that I can think of. And the times, the years I was here, being engaged in sports and spiritual and other clubs even, that was a hallmark of my undergraduate experience and career here. So it's something where it's easy for me to talk about and sell, and we do that all the time. My job is actually to help students seize the day in a way and consider who they're becoming as young adults and young professionals. And it's a really wonderful place to be.
I really liked how you phrased that, how Penn State is going to help you become the best version of yourself you can be. We're going to have to stitch that on needlepoint and hand it out. It was wonderful. Tracy, what resources like advising are available to students to help shape their futures and manage issues along the way? I know we've had a lot of concern, in this brave new world we're living in about those advising roles.
So we have dedicated advisors for every student that will meet individually with students whenever they want to have a discussion about their career paths or their academic paths, and give them advice on what courses they should take, or if they have a goal like fitting an international experience into their experience, giving them some guidance on how they can make that happen. So that's our formal advising, but then there's all this informal mentoring. So students build networks so they can get advice from students. They get to know faculty really closely. They can drop in on faculty hours at any time and get advice on how they can get an overseas or a research experience if that's what they're after. And everybody here, this is such a collaborative, open, friendly place. Everybody is willing to jump in and help figure it out.
Damon, you've talked a couple of times about how Penn State has just jumped into this online experience, and we have had people write in questions where they're concerned, will advising still be available even if things stay online? Can you speak to that for a moment?
Well, I think what's really incredible, Ben, is just how fully the university has moved into this remote environment because it needed to. We fortunately had the wherewithal to do that, the technology to do that. Our students are pretty sophisticated when it comes to living and working in that world. So it's gone as well as it could on short notice, I think. It really is incredible to me that in addition to putting all those courses online in short order and allowing students to complete the semester that way, that at the same time we stood up in a remote way all these support services. You mentioned counseling, so counseling and psychological services is always very important. But I think the stresses of this experience have been unique, and we anticipate that the stresses will continue to be distinctive. CAPS is completely online. The University Health Service is completely online with a telemedicine approach. Our career service function is completely online, is connecting students to prospective employers, having virtual career fairs. Our student organizations are meeting online routinely and continuing their activities. Our spiritual center is having activities online, and on and on and on. Everything has moved in that direction. It's not our preferred mode. We would love to get back to an in-person experience where we can. We're very proud of our World Campus and what it offers to students, but we're also very proud of what we offer in terms of a resident instruction experience. I can only say that no matter what the situation is in the coming months, Penn State is fully open for business. We are going to continue to serve students in the way we always have. And I think anyone who's coming to us should know that and be excited about the prospect. And we will bridge from this experience to a return to some sense of normalcy when safety and health considerations allow for it.
Damon, if I could just follow up a little bit. You said in the beginning that right now, the plan is to be in person in fall, and that's wonderful. But what I'm hearing you say is that no matter what happens, Penn State is going to meet you where you are. Penn State is going to take care of you and give you that real college experience.
That is absolutely the entire point, Ben. I think that we are determined to never lose sight of our mission, our commitment to our students, their success. This is a challenging circumstance, but I've never been more certain of this university than I am now, because I think it was Tracy who talked about how collaborative and collegial this place is. It really is, and everyone is pulling together to promote the mission of the university, and that mission in large part is in service to our students, advancing their academic aspirations, serving their personal needs, allowing them to explore the best version of themselves, as Mike says. We're committed to continuing to do that no matter what the circumstances are that lie ahead. But we certainly hope that, that the virus, which really is directing an awful lot of this, will allow us to return to an in-person experience sooner rather than later.
And one important point to note is, and it's very difficult in the position, you've just graduated, you're very excited about coming to Penn State, we're excited to have you. But you need to think beyond. There might be some rocky times for a month, for a week, for even a couple of days. But you're going to be here for 4 years, and things are going to be back to normal. Things are going to be great, and you're going to have a wealth of experiences. All right, Katie, if I could ask you, just as a current student, what would you say to a prospective student? What is it like to be a Penn Stater?
I think the theme that we've kind of all been talking about is the fact that being a Penn Stater is forever. You're a student for 4 or so years here on campus, and then you graduate and you join the largest alumni network in the world. So you're kind of looking at always being a Penn Stater. I think it's really cool. Someone mentioned, it might have been you, you travel and you see someone wearing a Penn State shirt and you can say we are, and you'll get back that Penn State no matter where you are. You always, always, always have that support system behind you. And it's just really being part of an incredible community, and no matter who you're looking for, you'll find that person or that group of people that will kind of be your forever people, as Penn State's a forever home.
I've seen that happen in states all across the country, in international airports. I have seen this happen in another country. It's really great, and that community of Penn State just goes far beyond anything else in the world. Austin, I have one more question for you. As a resident assistant, if a student comes to you looking for guidance, how do you help someone like that?
Resident assistants are trained during the spring semester. We have a class, so we learn all the valuable resources that our campus has to offer. And I usually just try to point the student in the right direction if they need help that I can't help them with, or I sit and listen and we just try to talk it out. Most of the time, my door's open. Residents were in and out of my door all year. It was a great experience.
And that's a good thing to point out. You know, when you get here, when you're among us and you're living on campus, you can go to so many people. You can go to your advisor, you can go to your faculty member, you can go to your resident assistant if you're looking for someone closer to your age who's been through a lot of the things that you're going through right now and will be able to help you. You know, Damon, I've got another question that we've been getting for you. And people are asking some questions about safety, like, you know, what measures are being put in place for the safety of students when they come back here, even in lecture halls and large venues, wonderful things like thon and sporting events. So what would you say to them?
Well, I'd say that I mentioned before the set of task forces that have been created by the president and the provost to guide us in our thinking about how we can move forward through this crisis. The one that I'm co-leading is focused on issues that all of which touch upon health and the welfare of the community and those concerns. But President Barron and Provost Jones have said from the beginning that everything we decide to do, everything we consider doing as we move forward must be informed first and foremost by health and welfare considerations. And that's for everyone, students, faculty, staff, alumni, visitors to the university. We have to factor those things in because this, first and foremost, is a health crisis, of course. We're doing that. We are informed by some of the best thinkers. We happen to have faculty members here who are some of the best thinkers around public health issues. We're reaching out across the country, scouring for ideas there that others may have that we can utilize. But I must tell you that as ambitious as we are to return to an in-person experience, we are extraordinarily mindful of the risks involved, and we are going to factor in every one of those and do all we can to mitigate risk before we open ourselves up to any in-person experiences. Some of it may have to be staged. We're going to have to start in one place and gradually move toward another place as the circumstances allow. As you would guess, some situations are going to be more fraught with risk than others. And so we'll find a way to get on the best path. But we're going to be on a path that first and foremost is informed by the health considerations involved. And people should know that that's where we're beginning our thinking, and we're committed to them in that way. I should mention my own son is asthmatic, and he will be living in a residence hall. I would not jeopardize my son unduly, and I'm certainly not going to jeopardize any other sons or daughters unduly. And that is our commitment as a university, to do this as well as we possibly can to make sure that people are as healthy and as safe as they can be as we move back to the kind of experience that we all want to enjoy at Penn State.
You know, we often talk about how your health and your safety is our number one priority, and it's not just what we say, it's absolutely the truth. And you talked about enjoying things and getting back to those fun things, and that's one thing we haven't touched on yet. What can you tell us about the campus rec facilities across all of the campus and some of the fun things at other campuses like Shavers Creek here near University Park? What can you tell us about those things?
Well, I can tell you that the nice thing about Penn State is that really we're talking about every campus here. Every campus is different. They all are resourced different. They're differently. They're in different circumstances, and physical locations, of course, are different. But the experience is a rich one wherever you are. Campus recreation here at University Park has grown tremendously in the last handful of years. Our facilities are really quite remarkable. We're very proud of those, but our programs have always been strong. There's a real commitment to sport. Athletics is strong here, of course, and we enjoy spectating there and watching student athletes perform. But the rest of us get to participate in recreational activities. Mike mentioned club sports, but there are all kinds of informal opportunities and intramural opportunities. But that's true across Penn State at its various campuses. And the one thing I would say, I think Austin would probably agree, when I visit any other campus in the Penn State constellation, The students, wherever I am, always, absolutely always tell me they would not be any place other than where they are. They love that campus. So what we're talking about today is really true no matter where you happen to be at Penn State. You will experience all these wonderful things that we've been describing, and you should know that. It's very exciting to see the commitment that students have to their campus, wherever that campus location is, and how much each campus gives back to a student's life, both in the classroom and outside the classroom.
Okay, Austin, he called you out there, so I'm going to follow up. What is one thing that you love about Penn State Barron?
The people. I mean, it's kind of like the wow, he said that answer, but like I love the people. Every student up here that I've gotten to talk to, I can talk to them again and again and again, and it's always a different experience with them. I've made so many friends that I feel are going to last for a long time. So the people has to be my favorite thing.
Wonderful. And we're going to do something a little bit more fun. We're running out of time, so we're going to do something we're calling the lightning round. So if I can ask all our Zoom participants to unmute your microphones, because these questions are going to be a little faster, a little quicker to respond. And if you watched last week, like I said, fast questions, short answers. So Damon, we're going to start with you. What is your favorite creamery ice cream flavor?
Ghoulishly named, but delicious all the same, Death by Chocolate.
It is a fantastic flavor. Tracy, same question.
Peachy Paterno.
Wonderful. We're going into the summer months, and that's a great one for that warm weather. Michael?
Oh, I love Alumni Swirl.
It's wonderful. Katie?
Thon Gold Ribbon Ribble.
Now, you're a little bit biased on that one, but it
bit.
is a delicious flavor. Very, very sweet. Austin, how about you?
Lion's S'more. It's more of a fall flavor.
Oh, but it is delicious. It's got the marshmallow and the chocolate and the graham cracker. They need to have that one year round. If you're listening, guys, that's a delicious flavor. Katie, when you are coming back and you're walking on campus, do you walk, bike, or take the shuttle?
I walk. It's a beautiful campus.
It really is a beautiful question. Austin, same thing on your campus.
Walk, absolutely.
You can see more of the sights, and if you're up at Barron, you can get a little bit of Lake Erie views from time to time. Damon, what is the best place to eat or get coffee on campus?
Well, I never thought I'd say this when I was in college, but I actually like some of our residence halls cafeterias. They really have extraordinary offerings in many of them. And then if you want a special bite, I'd go to, at University Park, to the Nittany Lion Inn, and I would ask for a writing room in the inn's restaurant.
Wow, that's some insider information there. Tracy, same question. Where's the best spot, and what is your favorite order there?
Oh, this is hard. There are so many good places to eat on campus. I'm going to go with Cafe Laura and whatever their special is.
Well, there you go. No matter when you show up, you're going to have the best thing on the menu.
Right.
Michael, what was your favorite activity when you were an undergrad?
Oh, when I was an undergrad, I really enjoyed mountain biking around campus and hitting up trails off campus with my friends as a way to just decompress from everything going on academically.
And there are a lot of beautiful places to go mountain biking around here. Katie, roughly how many selfies have you taken at your Lion Shrine?
Too many to count and many more to come.
I got a feeling that she's probably one of the top photo takers, but Austin, what do you think? What's your number?
I don't know. I'm not a big photo guy. Probably like 10, 15.
Then Katie obviously has you beat. Tracy, What is your best piece of advice to a prospective student?
Get involved. There are so many opportunities. Take them.
Michael, same question. Best advice?
Yep. Meet new people. Make friends. Don't stay in your dorm. Look up from your desk and join the world that's going by. It's a wonderful place to be part of.
Thank you. Katie?
Do it all. There's nothing. There's never a boring day at Penn State. There's no reason to not go to something if you're able.
Thank you. Austin, I think you're closest in age to our prospective students. What would you say?
I'd say push yourself. Go outside of your comfort zone. Whatever you were in high school, put that behind you and become the best version of yourself that you want to see.
Wow, Michael, you should have done something to trademark that phrase, because you'd be getting royalties already. Damon, can you provide some final advice of the day for students thinking about coming to Penn State?
Well, I'd sort of end where we began, Ben. I would just say that You know, I have worked in higher education in the Chief Student Affairs Office of a Big Ten university for almost 4 decades, and I know that there is absolutely no student experience anywhere in higher education that quite matches the Penn State experience. I think that everybody who's been a part of this program today has told you why that is, given you some examples of how that can be. Their last admonition was really dive in, take advantage of what is here. The breadth and depth and richness of support here and opportunity is just unmatched. So we look forward to all of you joining us in the near future. Nothing can be more exciting than that for me, and I hope it will be that exciting for you. Thank you all for joining us.
That was great advice all around. And again, if it's sports, if it's other clubs, if it's the theater that you're into, you can do it all here at Penn State. I want to thank you all for answering questions today and thank everyone who tuned in to watch and learn. I hope we answered your questions, but we know you have many more. And if you have follow-up questions, you can submit them through the Google form on this site, and we'll be addressing more of those questions on Wednesday of this week and Wednesday of next week. This event, like all of the others, will be archived on this same website. And I want to remind you one more time, the next event is Wednesday, May 20th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time here at class of2024.psu.edu. Then we'll be focusing on the strength of the Penn State community, another great topic. It'll be hosted by Marie Harden, Dean of the Donald P. Belisario College of Communications. In that session, we'll discuss topics around the Penn State community and during your student years, as well as after graduation, and you're a part of that outstanding, largest alumni network. We'll post the video of each Q&A question again right here, class of2024.psu.edu. Thank you all and welcome to the Penn State community.